Hey everyone, Amy Lombardo here again. Did you know that banks actually know a lot about you, maybe even more so than your favorite retailer? But that data that they're capturing, are they using it to their strategic advantage? So joining me today is Markus Deoinghaus. He is one of our software leads who has a keen interest in personalization. So let's talk about this topic. Welcome, Markus.
Thank you very much, Amy. Good to be here.
Good. So is it safe to say that banks' largest challenge is capturing data and figuring out how to make insightful decisions from it?
I think that's right. Although I have to say, capturing the data, maybe banks can improve, but I think the biggest trouble is really making use of the data. It has to do with technology. I think they struggle with combining the data, making meaningful reports out of it, and using it in their business strategies. And it has to do with technology and trust. The second point is that banks are not using it because they believe they are moving in an area where their customers are not unhappy with using their data. But to that point, I have to say I'd rather have my bank use the data than Amazon or Google.
Sure.
And if banks make use of that data, they can really use it to change this channel strategy, to overcome some of the hurdles in the consumer interaction and build a strategy how to engage with customers now and tomorrow.
Got it. You mentioned a unique word. You said trust. And when I think of trust, I think of consumer loyalty. So is that a component of how banks think about that data usage?
I think so, because keeping the volume of customers and keeping customers happy is a big topic for them. I think it's hard to measure. I think how personalization can create stickiness. Mm-hmm. There are reports that say the more personalized advertising is, the more banks sell, and the more likely people are going to stick to the bank. But I think it's really hard to measure. But if I look at me, for example, I'm not sure if I know exactly what I expect from my bank when it comes to personalization. What I do know is things that I think are awkward and I don't like. Things like if I get asked multiple times on different channels to insert my data, and this data
Right.
is not carrying on from channel to channel. If I get asked on a product that I already have, and I actually say no on an ATM, and 5 minutes later I get the same question on mobile. So I think it's key that banks do it right, but then I think it will increase stickiness.
That's an interesting point, because it's not just about the consumer, but it's capturing on that different channels, so you're
Right.
not being redundant in what
Right.
you're asking, right?
Yes.
So if we hone in on the ATM channel, how can we use that as a way to personalize and increase engagement?
Yeah. So I think I'm 20 years in this industry, and I think from day one we had marketing and direct marketing solutions for ATMs. I'm not sure, but banks are not using it to an extent. I think, first of all, I think it's an underestimated channel, and they have a technology hurdle. So first thing that needs to happen is that banks, and more banks do this, they have to incorporate the ATM and self-service channel into an overall digital strategy. So
Okay.
it needs to be part of a bigger ecosystem. And there is where technology comes in. I think we have to open up the ATM. We have to build connections from and to the ATM, because as I said before, what meaning does it have if I don't include mobile and online banking and as
Right.
well as the branch into my advertising, for example. So what we are looking at is using the ATM either as a teaser, as a first initial contact point, and if that ATM is in the branch, why not actually contact and immediately send an event to a banker that goes in a conversation, or if I'm interested in a product, why not pop up my mobile and give me more information? So it needs to fit in, it's part of a bigger story.
So you're starting to go into some examples here. Can you maybe give our audience a few more specific examples on how we can personalize at the ATM?
Yeah, so we have products that deliver one-to-one marketing, static, location-based, time-based, and even on a branch level, a community bank can have access to what content is uploaded. There are calculations that a return of investment, for example, can actually happen in 6 months, because if you turn around sales, then there is an increased value of this. But again, that's also very hard to measure. I see it like this. We have banks around the globe that have millions of transactions on an ATM. And only looking at on-us customers, the average is that an on-us customer returns 35 times average a year to an ATM. What a great opportunity to check with him what's new. I know my customer, I can advertise to him. And if I use it as an interaction point, but then lead into a greater conversation, make an appointment, then I think it's a perfect channel to be fit in. And we now host our marketing engine in the cloud, so there are less setup costs for the environment and very easy to integrate.
Okay, I think that's a good place to wrap up for today. So if you want to get started on your personalization journey, talk to an expert like Markus or other DN representatives around the world, go to diebelnixdorf.com. Thanks for watching.